All right, we are here at the headquarters of Really Right Stuff, and we are here with Mark. What's your last name?
Gvazdinskas.
Gvazdinskas?
Rolls off the tongue.
Yes. And he's showing me some tripods because, well, I don't know if you saw another video I did. I was at a beach and I was kind of worried about a wave, and my tripod wasn't too sturdy, and I came running towards it, and my cell phone fell out of my pocket and got destroyed. And plus, there's always the worry about the camera itself. What if it had fallen over? And I was pushing it into the sand. So, Mark, what I would do is I'd push the legs into the sand so that they wouldn't just I'd get them down to a more sturdy. I don't live near a beach, so I just figured that was the way to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
And the legs would start to collapse up on themselves.
Right. I mean, that's the way you really want to do it. You do want to drive those in because as you get the tide pushing back, I mean, it's going to inevitably try to move the legs. But if you're really driven in, and especially if you're using things like rock claws, or we actually make foot spikes as well, that can really help you drive into that sand. And then you apply all that downward pressure, and then, heck, you could sit there for minutes at a time as the tide just keeps kind of banging the legs.
Okay.
And the beauty of these really sturdy legs and the really thin-walled carbon fiber that we use is the vibration absorption will outshine any of our competitors. So yeah, waves can be kind of banging up against this, but you can be just sitting back as your exposure is going for minutes at a time, and you're going to come out with the tack sharp results. As you mentioned, kind of running away over at Pfeiffer Beach, I was there, it was about a year ago, shooting a sunset, and I had this same exact setup. And the guy had a Hasselblad just next to me, and he's kind of got some old aluminum sticks, and every time the waves would come up, he'd kind of curse. He'd have to move away, run away. Meanwhile, I'm sitting back laying in the sand, just eating a sandwich, just kind of laughing at him.
Yeah.
And I had like a D7000 at that time, so I was sitting there with way overkill, but I got the results.
Okay.
Perfect for long exposures.
Yeah, and I found that they stopped, like the more I was using them in that water and gritty kind of environment, the less effective the screws would have to be, and I'd have to really clamp them in more and more, just like as the night progressed almost, like I was doing it, like having to clamp it more, and the more I clamped it, it seemed like I'd have to just do it extra the next time.
Mm-hmm. I don't find that, the best practice is always going to be, even if you're down really low, to have this bottom leg section extended so the leg locks never have to get exposed to sand. Really easy to clean because we do have, the twist locks, easy to get all the gibs out of there and everything. But even if I do get a little bit of sand in there, you always want to clean it out, but that won't affect my shoot for that particular evening.
All right, and we did another little video earlier with a friend of mine, Barry Blanchard, and he was talking about his setup. So, and he was mentioning that he loves this head right here. So you feel this one's pretty popular, or what's the deal with this one?
That's probably our bestseller. That's our full-size BH55. If you're using lenses 70 to 200 and larger, I would say it's a necessity going with this.
Okay.
Well, larger than 70 to 200. 70 to 200 could fit on most of our heads. But if you don't mind carrying the weight of an almost 2-pound ball head, and there's really not a smoother one that we'll make. Okay,
it's 2 pounds, so what's another good one for the 70 to 200?
For 70 to 200, you can get down into our, let's see, do I have 40 out here? You can even get down to our really compact head. And I've actually shot with this is our 1 series TQC 14. I've shot with this in wind with the center column extended with a 70 to 200 for a couple minute exposures. I was in Colorado and it just snowed. And I was getting tack sharp results even with 70 to 200 just on that really small guy. Mm-hmm.
So this is way smaller and probably a lot lighter, right? Mm-hmm. So why this one over the big one if I don't mind too much the price or something?
Kind of the torque down on this, it tips quicker. It's not as smooth. Anytime you have a bigger diameter ball, it's always going to be smoother movement. Okay. A lot of customers really like that BH55, myself included, because of the main lock knob. Just the ergonomics of it, people tend to like that a lot more,
Gotcha.
As opposed to the T-lever.
Uh-huh.
But the T-lever is needed so that you can get the necessary torque.
Is there anything in between then?
The BH40 would be the next one, and
it's not out here.
It's not out here. The only difference is slightly bigger diameter ball, a second 90-degree drop notch, and then it actually has independent drag tension. So all the same functions of our full-size ball head.
Okay. All the same, but what's the drawback between the 40 and 50 then?
The 40 is just going to top out really with a 70 to 200. I wouldn't go any bigger on that.
Okay.
You know, in a pinch, maybe 300, 2.8, but you really like the handling more with the full size.
All right, and you guys also do something that I may one day get into, which is panorama type stuff. I haven't really done that much now, but this is
So this is our Pano
this
gimbal.
is for another video, I suppose.